Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Are you road weary yet?
A little bit, but not too much.
It's not as if it wasn't 100 degrees, it wouldn't be terrible.
Right? Yeah, I think this is like the hottest week of the summer. It feels like
it is. It definitely is, and it came early. But as long as your vehicle's running right, you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. Keep your AC running.
Yep. Blake Wood joining us here. Kind of an up-and-comer, got a great new song out right now called Dear Life. And
thank you.
And an Owensboro native, but you was baby.
Yeah, I was tiny. I was born in Owensboro, Kentucky, but like not long after moved to North Carolina, Wake Forest. And I consider myself from North Carolina because I was so young that I don't remember, much Owensboro, but I'd like to go back and check it out. But yeah, North Carolina is my home state to me, and love to go back when I can. My family's all there, but living in Nashville now since 4 years ago. So yeah, I love Tennessee, but I definitely miss the East Coast and the beach and all kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. What's it like when you're a new songwriter and you're heading to Nashville?
Oh, yeah.
What's that trip like when you pull in there the first day?
Yeah, it's pretty intimidating, I feel like. I mean, Nashville has so much talent. So it's hard to stand out there, but I'm blessed to have my brother there. So he moved there, on his own, which God bless him. But thankfully, I had a brother there to go there and kind of show me the area. And
so he was there before you got.
He was, yeah. He moved there about 2 years before I did, and so that's the one brother I have in Nashville. The rest of my family's in North Carolina. But yes, I moved with him, and we still live together in Nashville, in Franklin, just south of Nashville. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's a big move, and it's just it's worth it all. But it's so much talent there, and yeah, it's a lot, but I love it.
One of the things about North Carolina that seemed like you liked a lot was bonfires.
Yeah, I mean, that was like that was most of like my high school days. Just didn't grow up with like a bunch of money to go do stuff. So it's like that was our thing, was like, hey, if somebody has like a big enough backyard with not a whole bunch of trees around, let's have a bonfire and have some fun, and everyone pulls their trucks around back and stuff like that. So yeah, that's like a lot of memories for me.
So I take it that's kind of where you cut your teeth, kind of performing for people? Yeah,
I mean, I grew up in a musical family. Like my dad grew up playing gospel music and country music on the road, and my whole family is involved in music, and so that's how I got into it. But really, started playing for my family first because I was just learning stuff, and started playing songs for my friends, and just pulling the guitar out, and just kind of like, what do you guys think? Is this good and does it suck? But
and they'll be truthful with you.
Yeah, they will, and I'm glad they are truthful because I want them to be. But
what was the worst review you got from one of your buddies?
The worst review, oh man, that's tough. Now, I will say my family would be truthful. My buddies might have lied to me. but yeah, my family was always truthful. And I can look back on my old stuff and like the songs that I wrote in the beginning, and I'm like, I don't want to hear those because I don't know how bad those are. But I feel bad for anyone who heard those back then when I was just starting out.
I get it. No, and you're right. I guess, your family's going to be a lot more truthful than anybody else.
Definitely, yeah. But, more helpful than anything. So if I had to work on something, they were like, hey, do this and, learn this and work on this. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun growing up in a musical family, and, not many get to do that. So I'm very blessed for that.
Who were your favorites listening to? What was your influences?
Yeah, so my dad was always playing 70s, 80s, 90s country. So always heard Haggard and George Jones playing, and my first CD was Alan Jackson's Drive record. So huge Alan Jackson fan, and always loved that whole record. But George Strait, Brooks and Dunn, all the legends, huge fan. Never got to see like Alan Jackson or George Strait in concert, but yeah, that'd be like a bucket list thing.
It's funny because I just had Mark Chestnut
Oh, really?
Joined me for an interview this last week, and you ask him the same questions, and he says the exact same people that you say.
Oh, yeah.
George Jones, he became really good friends with George Jones, of course. But, the Wayland, and that's what everybody listens to.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of Mark Chestnut, too. So I would be like starstruck if I was in the same room as him.
Yeah, I could have talked to him for like 3 or 4 hours. I mean,
I imagine.
He was awesome. But you got your song, Dear Life. Let's talk a little bit about this. This is a good song, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Dear Life is one of my favorite songs I've written. It's very personal to me. And it's just about how life can, knock you down and kick you while you're down. But it's mainly an encouraging message about, getting up and moving forward and, fighting on. But yeah, I wrote this song in my room in Nashville like 2 years ago, and I had this idea, and I was like, I want to write this. It's, I love this, and I finished writing it, and I did what most country artists do, and I put it on TikTok, and, thankful to say that it took off, and so we got in the studio like 6 days later and put it out, and it's been doing great, and I've heard so many encouraging stories from people. I got for instance, I got a direct message on Instagram from a young kid who sent me a video of his mom who had just beat cancer, and that was her walkout song from the hospital. So that was super encouraging. And yeah, so that's like to me what songwriting is all about. So yeah, it's amazing to hear stories like that.
You want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is Blake Wood and his single called Dear Life.
Dear life, you've knocked me down a few times, you're tough, but I'm getting better at getting back up and looking at you like a half-full cup. Dear life, I still got a lot of miles to go, but I've seen a few of the punches you throw, and I know there's more coming down the road, but I just want you to know you can bring the heat, take it up another level. This ain't the first time I've danced with the devil. You can try to break me any way you can, but I got the man upstairs on my side. Might not always be in between the straight and narrow, might get knocked off the right path when the wind blows, but when it all goes wrong, I'm gonna hang on tight, even if I'm holding on for dear life. Dear life, don't give a damn what the anchor man airs. I know there's more than bad news out there, and I know they say you ain't fair, oh, but I don't care. You can bring the heat, take it up another level. This ain't the first time I've danced with the devil. You can try to break me any way you can, but I got the man upstairs on my side. Might not always be in between the straight and narrow, might get knocked off the right path when the wind blows, but when it all goes wrong, I'm gonna hang on tight, even if I'm holding on for dear life. You can bring the heat, take it up another level. This ain't the first time I've danced with the devil. You can try to break me any way you can, but I got the man upstairs on my side. Might not always be in between the straight and narrow, might get knocked off the right path when the wind blows, but when it all goes wrong, I'm gonna hang on tight, even if I'm holding on for dear life. Dear life.
Blake Wood joining us here on our Z100 Radio Roadhouse. I get it, dude. That's a good song.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
That is awesome. You talk about social media. It's kind of what all the cool kids do now.
Yeah, it is.
And talk about the influence that's had on your career.
Yeah, I mean, I started posting like on TikTok a few years ago, kind of when TikTok was like just beginning, and just posted songs that I loved and that I wrote, and didn't know if it would do anything, but had some songs take off on there, and thankfully Dear Life was one of those songs. And it's amazing to see how many people can reach from just like a video in my bedroom, just singing a song that's not a big recording, but just me and a guitar, and it's really cool to see that. And yeah, I'm blessed to have that.
Yeah, and you see just more and more artists that are doing their own recordings and able to stay independent and kind of control their destiny, I guess, as it were.
Yeah, definitely. So many talented independent artists that I'll just scroll through and find on TikTok, and they're crushing it. And like, they're doing everything themselves. They're filming all this content and, promoting their songs. And yeah, it's really cool to see that everyone can have their unique sound and nobody has to follow like a trend or a certain path. And, they can really be themselves. So it's cool to see that, music is going that direction.
So let's talk a little bit about your writing. What's the process like for you as you do your writing sessions? Or
yeah, so I mean, I've always written a lot of songs by myself, and I think it's because when I was in North Carolina, I would write alone because, it wasn't a very musical town like Nashville is, where you could just find, anyone to co-write with, unless it was, family, of course, I would do that. But so when I moved to Nashville, kept writing a lot of songs, just solo, but also got into co-writing, which was new to me at the time, and I love it, and it's a blast. So many amazing writers that I've gotten to, share the room with. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny how every song is a different process, and there's no right way to write a song. You might think of something, while driving down the road, and then, record it on your phone, just like a melody or something like that. And it's cool how, every song that you get to write is just, a new process and a different way of doing it.
If you had to guess, how many song ideas do you have in your notes app on your phone?
Oh, wow. That I haven't written yet.
Whether finished or unfinished, but I mean,
total.
Just like a phrase or a line or
I'd have to say
a topic.
I'd have to say like 400 or 500 if I had to guess. Yeah, and some of them I don't even end up writing, but I just kind of scribble a bunch of random titles and ideas. So yeah, there's a lot more than the songs that I write, but sometimes it works out and turns out to be a good song. But
we used to have a whiteboard here in the building that was band names, that we'd come up with, and in my all the time during a conversation, you'll be talking to somebody, that'd be a good country song right there. I need to start writing those down and documenting those, and maybe I'll get some credits out of it. That's what I'm trying to do. Who do you like writing with? Have you got somebody that's pretty solid that you work with?
Yeah, definitely my brother. And it's not even just because we live together. It's because we've written so much together that we know how each other's writing styles are, and he knows he sings a little bit different songs than I do, and I know how to write for him, and he knows how to write for me. But also we've got like a good little group of friends we write with, and I have my list, of course, where I'm like, man, it'd be awesome to write with this guy. Or, there's so many talented, hit songwriters where I'm like, I go see them, play songs like, it'd be a dream to write with like Dean Dillon or something like that,
Matt McAnally or somebody like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All of those guys are just amazing. But I love all the guys and girls that I co-write with.
Do you get to do a lot of writer rounds?
Every now and then. Yeah, I've probably done, probably 15 or 20 in Nashville, but, just really focusing on writing songs and record them and getting to do some more shows, really. Nashville, I've played some shows there, but I love going on the road and hitting the West Coast and East Coast and just kind of going all over the country is so much fun to me, and playing, little towns that, don't always have bands come through, and it's fun to like go in there and just, meet all of them.
Yeah, and people in those areas, they love it whenever there's artists that come through and they can come out and kind of let loose.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Nashville, I mean, you go downtown any day of the week, and you can find 50 bands.
Yeah.
But these small towns don't have it like that.
Yeah, that's true. You want to do another one for us?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do. This is Blake Wood, and we'll let you kind of roll with it.
Yeah, this next one I'll do is a song that I wrote with my brother. It's John Wood, by the way, is my brother, and he's a talented writer and artist. And I walked up to him one night, and I was like, man, I have this song idea. And I was like, everyone knows that song, Hit the Road Jack, Hit the Road Jack. And I was like, I want to write, this like country fun version of that. And so we wrote it, and it's actually about Jack Daniels instead in this time. But yeah, it's called Hit the Road Jack. Hope y'all enjoy it. Well, I love her, but she don't love you. And I can't keep coming home round two. We had a good run, it was fun, but you're trouble. And I'm gonna be single if you keep me seeing double. Hit the road, Jack, I gotta trade you for a 6-pack. I get too crazy every time you get to pouring. I got my last warning, and she'll be gone if you don't hit the road, Jack. It ain't just one, no, it's one too many. Next thing I know, hey, the whole thing's empty. With you hanging round, no doubt I'm a handful, and she can't handle me with a handle. Hit the road, Jack, I gotta trade you for a 6-pack. I get too crazy every time you get to pouring. I got my last warning, and she'll be gone if you don't hit the road, Jack. She don't mind Miller, she don't mind Corona, but if I don't pour you out, she's gonna hit the road, Jack. I gotta trade you for a 6-pack. I get too crazy every time you get to pouring. I got my last warning, and she'll be gone if you don't hit the road, Jack. Yeah, hit the road, Jack.
Hit the road, Jack. There's some Blake Wood for you. All right, man. I got a thing. It's what we call my Roadhouse Rapid Fire.
All right.
5 quick questions, just off the cuff, whatever the answer is here. Number 1, what's the weirdest thing you've seen autographed?
Weirdest thing I've autographed?
Yeah.
Oh.
Item of anything?
I'm trying to think here. I've only been on one tour, and I don't think I've experienced the weird autographs yet.
It's coming. I'm sure.
But I'm waiting for that to happen, though.
Okay. All right. We'll go with that. When you're out on the road, you're doing your radio tour, you whip in the gas station. What is the go-to snack from the road?
Yeah, I got to go with the combos. The combos and probably like a Dr. Pepper. I think that's my go-to.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call. What flavor combos?
Either like the cheddar ones or the pizza ones.
Yep, I do the cheddar. That's the cheddar. If you're not a musician, what are you doing?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm glad I am, because I don't have the best answer. I don't know. I mean, I love business. I love, the idea of starting clothing brand or something like that. So I'd probably give that my best shot.
Yep.
Who knows if it would work out, but I'd probably shoot for that.
We like to call that an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's what you would do.
It might fail, but
what's an artist that or a song, you can go either way here, that you absolutely love that people wouldn't think that you like?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd probably go with something like Outside of Country then, because I feel like everyone that knows me knows I love all kinds of country. I'm a huge fan of like Bruno Mars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's obviously not rare. But you know, for someone who knows me, I only listen to country, and so like if I get in the truck, I'm only playing country. So, you know, if I turn on Bruno Mars, they're like,
let me tell you
what's going on.
It's funny you say that because I have said forever that now you got to remember I'm a 60-year-old man. I want to be one of Bruno Mars's backup dancers. I think that would have to be the coolest gig. Number one, you get to hang with Bruno and just be able to bop around on stage like that. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's funny you say that.
You got to get in touch with them.
What's the worst gig that you've played? Whether it was venue, and you don't need to name them. I'm not looking for a name specific, but I mean situation, worst gig situation maybe.
Yeah, there was one in Nashville that I played that I got there, and I think it was like an hour after I was supposed to start, and like the sound guy like never showed up, and like the whole like bar, like the whole employee crew wasn't, you know, didn't really pay attention. So I'm kind of sitting there sipping on a Miller Lite, just waiting for somebody to show up. And once somebody finally showed up like an hour later, or an hour and a half later, they didn't know how to run sound. So, like it was like their first time doing sound. So that took a long time to do that. And yeah, I mean, you know, it was a rough one, but you know, it happens.
I get it. You got another one you want to do?
Yeah, I'll do one that I put out on my debut record. This is a heartbreak song, which I write a lot of heartbreak songs, which is funny because I don't think I've gone through a bunch of heartbreaks, but but I think that's me growing up on like the 90s sad ballads. Yep. So this is called The Both of Us. It's just a trap when there's Jack on the table, 'cause it gets me thinking round 3 drinks in about you and me on a riverbank in April, hanging our shirts on a maple. And I know we're over, but it's done a number on this broken heart. And girl, I can't help but wonder, do you ever crave that midnight summer kiss? Do you ever hate that we called it quits? It's fine if you don't think about how it was, 'cause I miss us enough for them both of us. Does it take you back when you hear our song? Or are you on a fast track to moving on? Girl, if you are, it's alright, because I miss us enough for them both of us. I keep the Chevy petty heavy when I drive by your street, 'cause I'll be a wreck if I don't. Wish I could let go and try to find a bright side, but there ain't no use, I know that I won't. So tell me, do you ever crave that midnight summer kiss? Do you ever hate that we called it quits? It's fine if you don't think about how it was, 'cause I miss us enough for them both of us. Does it take you back when you hear our song? Or are you on a fast track to moving on? Girl, if you are, it's alright, because I miss us enough for them both of us. Oh, tell me, do you ever crave that midnight summer kiss? Do you ever hate that we called it quits? It's fine if you don't think about how it was, 'cause I miss us enough for them both of us. Does it take you back when you hear our song? Or are you on a fast track to moving on? Girl, if you are, it's alright, because I miss us enough for them both of us. Yeah, yeah, I miss us enough for them both of us. Yeah, yeah, I miss us enough for the both of us.
That's Blake Wood joining us here in our Z100 Radio Roadhouse. What's new? What's next? What's coming down the pipe for you?
Yeah, so I put out my debut record last November, and we are working on my second record right now, and got about halfway through. I think we got, well, a little more than halfway through. I think we have 4 more songs to record before the album is finished. And, you know, just narrowing down the songs for these last 4 songs to choose, which ones to record. And just been loving the process, and every time I record a song, you know, I feel like I like that song even more, and just writing songs that are more like me. And so, yeah, really excited for this second record to drop, and just been putting out, you know, some songs and all that fun stuff, but looking forward to it.
The more you do, the better they get.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like practice. Blake Wood, thank you. Thank you for coming by. We appreciate it. Looking forward to some big stuff from you, and appreciate you making a stop here at Z100.
Thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here. Really appreciate it.
Blake Wood joining us here on Z100's Radio Roadhouse.
It's